to join. If I can get him to join. Oop, a little bit too much there, folks. And I can get, let's see. So, hey, how's it going? Uh, we're 1 hour behind. 1 hour behind. So yeah, let me see if I can figure this out because this is new. It's a private. I was part of their private beta with one of the organizations that I work with, and now they just released a public beta this past week, and I kind of want to get it out there because it's kind of like a social mixer kind of a thing, and I really like it. I don't know about you, Jeremy, but I'm kind of fatigued on Zoom. Oh, shoot. I just lost you. Come join. Hey, I lost you. Sorry. Yeah. Well, okay, so let me tell you a little bit about this company. I know this is not what we're here for, but I'm such a fan of what they're doing, and I couldn't get my main webcam to work, so I'm kind of using my little side camera, and it's a little off-putting for me because I'm not used to using that camera. But so if I feel a little off, it's because in one camera I'm centered and the other camera I'm not. So Toucan was created by a brother and sister who are out of Stanford, and when pandemic hit, they missed all of the social interactions, and they were getting fatigued with Zoom. So they figured they would create something that mimics an actual event. So if you think about going to a physical social mixer, everybody kind of gathers around in circles. And so that's why everybody's in a circle and people can join. And so the really cool thing is you can have, if I recall correctly, in this room, you could have 20 different meeting areas, kind of like in the real world, where you would go and go from, social circle to social circle to social circle, which is what makes this really cool. But again, because this is something new, not everybody knows what it is. And it's a little, and I even kind of was hesitant with it because I'm like, everybody knows Zoom. That would be a really easy one. But I'm like, but everyone's also so fatigued. So I kind of thought we'd do something like this. And what we want to use it for, as far as my work goes, is to use this as the social component to an actual virtual event, virtual event where it's like session after session after session, but to have this be a companion to it where you can come and actually socialize, and have social opportunities within the actual conference where you go, okay, we've got 15 minutes for you all to talk. And so to get everybody over. So that's kind of why I wanted to use Toucan, because I really think this is so needed. If it looks like we're going to be doing this not just in 2020 but into next year, we're going to need more creative ways to kind of interact with one another. And so it just made sense to me to be able to kind of do that. And actually, you know what, I realized I may just be here. Let me do this. Select. Okay, cool. So now so we're streaming this. And so this should be going out and hopefully everyone is seeing the three of us. I know that more folks had RSVP that didn't RSVP for Toucan, but RSVP in within the groups within the various places. So I don't know if they're having trouble with this because you have to have Google Chrome. And so I don't know. So I guess we can kick it off now that we've introduced. So we've got, I need my glasses. This is terrible. I know you know what I'm talking about. I mean, the challenge becomes right with the lights, right? So here, let me put them on like this. Oh, you see all the lights, but then it's like, okay, let me do the eyeglass tilt. Oh, much better. The modern world challenges that we face. So Celine, am I saying that right, Celine?
Yeah, I'm actually a Melody rep, but my name on LinkedIn is different, so that sometimes causes confusion. I have two names, but I go with by my middle name. So it's Celine, yeah, pronounced perfectly.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Well, so let me talk to folks maybe who are, because we're live streaming, right? So my name is
Yep.
Jennifer Navarrete. I am the founder of National Podcast Post Month. It's something that I thought about back in 2007 when I heard about NaNoWriMo. NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writers Month, 50,000 words in 30 days in the month of November. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I don't want to write a novel. And then I heard about the National Blog Post Month, which was NaPodPoMo, and 30 blog posts in 30 days. I'm like, oh, that might be something I want to do, because when you create a podcast, you do show notes. That's a blog post. And then I heard that the video bloggers were doing NaPodPoMo, National Vlog Post Month. I'm like, holy cow, video once a day. You know, back in 2007, that was just like unheard of. Sean's joining us now. Hopefully he'll see the three of us and come join. And so then I thought, oh, I'm going to go join the one for podcasting. And I hunted and I searched and nothing. I mean, there was absolutely nothing I could find for podcasting, which blew me away because kind of weird that everyone else had something and we didn't. So 3 days before November 1 in 2007, I threw it out there and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this thing, calling it NaPodPoMo, just to mimic, model everyone else's. And if you want to join me, great. I had no idea if anybody was going to join because it's, again, last minute and kind of odd. By the time November 30th was over that first year, we had 50 podcasters who had joined at various times because people were hearing about it after the fact and then joining. And we've been going ever since. And it's a very much a community-based program. It's just something that we gather together once a month. And then let me see if I can get Sean to come over here. Let me get him over. I'm going to tell him, join our circle, Sean. Join our circle. Let's see if he does that. So, so now here we are in year 13, and it seems like during a pandemic, there's never been a better time to podcast because most of us are at home. And so it's a good opportunity. And I'm always amazed by the types of podcasts and shows that come out of it. We create a group feed. Anyone who wants to submit their feed, it's not mandatory, but if you want to submit your feed, we then create a group feed for it. And then I use I think it's Mixer. No, I think it's Mixer or Remix. Oh gosh, I think it's Remix. And it's not fancy at all. Like, I'm not able to put album art. I'm not able to put ID3 tags. It's literally me just getting everybody's feed and then hitting, mix. And then it mixes it into one feed. And that's the feed that goes on the group. The challenge with that is that we do that at the beginning of the year. And then there's people who join after the fact. And then we have to create a second feed, a third feed. And so I'm sure there's going to be a better solution for this at some point in the future. I just haven't found it yet. And if by the way, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, we have a solution for that, hit me up, because it'd be great to have more flexibility and to have more functionality. Hey, Madeline, thanks for joining us.
Hey, how's it going?
And so that's the history of NaPodPoMo. Now, the tie-in with Melody is that Celine actually contacted me on LinkedIn and said, hey, I see that you've got NaPodPoMo going on. We're Melody. We do, license music that you can license. And, they have more than that. And she'll talk about that. And we'd like to be able to offer a business package prize to someone who, won the 30 days. And I was like, whoa, that's really generous because, the challenge for podcasters is music. So this was amazing, and that's why we're here now, and we're actually having a fun opportunity to celebrate in something that we haven't really done this before. We've had a few things where we say, hey, let's get together, but this isn't actually an official thing. It'll be something that we do from here on out. Hey, Stephanie, how are you?
Hi, good, thank you.
Stephanie's coming in from Romania? No, not Romania. Albania, sorry. I knew it was an N-I-A at the end. And it's like, what, 7 p.m. where you are?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I tried to make sure that it would be applicable for folks that were overseas.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
And so that's kind of the history here. And so now we're here to celebrate. And it looks like people will begin joining as we go. So let's just continue. So I guess we'll start with Jeremy, since he was our first person here. Jeremy, talk about your NaPodPoMo experience.
Do you want to know my past experience with NaPodPoMo, or just this year?
No, I mean, if you've done it before, share.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know where I found out about it, to be honest with you. I maybe in podcast community on Facebook back in 2017, and I found out about it like in October of that year. And so I was like, okay, let's try this, let's give it a shot. I've been sporadically podcasting for probably 10, 11 years, off and on. I mean, I'm not like, I don't have thousands of episodes under my belt. I've just done it randomly here and there. And so I looked at it, I'm like, okay, I could try this. And so I mapped everything out, wrote down what I would do every day and talk about. So I had my topics, and I just went with it. And I finished in 2017. And then I decided to try it in 2018 while I was in the middle of finishing my bachelor's degree capstone project. And I failed miserably. I got 3 episodes in, and I had like a 50-page paper to write and all that other stuff. So there's no way.
I'm laughing not at you because I have been
Yeah, I there was no way. I'm married. I have 4 kids, and I was working full time and going to school, and there was no way I was going to be able to do 30 podcast episodes that I would appreciate making in 30 days. Sound quality, anything like that. I tried recording while I was driving. It sounded like garbage. And so I was like, forget it. I'm not going to keep going here. And then I tried again last year, and I got 25 episodes in, and I was almost there. And then I had some family stuff come up, and wow, that's a loud buzz going on in my ears. And so I tried. I got 25 episodes in 2019. And I had some family stuff come up, and I just wasn't able to finish the last 5. And that was like hanging over my head. It was this, I felt so horrible. I was this close, and I didn't make it. So this year I wasn't even going to try. And then I was just thinking about it one morning while I was, getting ready for work. And I had this book idea that I had already outlined 4 years ago. And I was like, okay, 30 days in November, 30 jobs before I was 30. Absolutely true story. Okay, let's try this. And so that's why I did it. And I was able to finish early, and I recorded an extra episode because I had, one, where I wanted to acknowledge everybody that had helped me along the way. So yeah, that was pretty much how I did it. And I was, a lot of late nights up writing, and it's fun that you mentioned, NaNoWriMo, because that's another thing I've tried and epically failed at in the past. But I write out all of my episodes, at least this year. I wrote everything out, and I compiled it into a manuscript, and I got 46,200 words. So I was this close to finishing NaNoWriMo, on the top of finishing NaPodPoMo. But
that's impressive.
I'm going to take it as a win. I'm going to take it as a win, even if I didn't hit the 50,000 words. I podcasted everything. So I did an audiobook and a book. So there you go.
Right. Well, and not only that, but I was listening. So the nice thing about the group feed is that I can just, listen to everyone's episodes when I get a chance. And your 30 jobs by the time you were the age of 30 was fascinating. I'm sure it wasn't any fun to experience, or maybe it was fun to experience all of that constant shift, but it was a fascinating listen. And I have to tell you, I think I talked about this on either Facebook or Twitter. This needs to be a movie, and I think Ryan Reynolds has to star in it.
As you can see, he and I are obviously twinsies. Maybe the ugly scarring of Deadpool is a little better for Ryan Reynolds. I definitely don't have his abs, but no, I think I was inspired by a book years ago by Hillbilly Elegy. Some people like it, some people don't. But just this telling of the tale, it resonated with me, just the actual story of, how he kind of got out. And I grew up in a very impoverished area in northern New York, and I got out. But I'm not like a millionaire or anything. I'm in debt and everything. And my story ended really depressing. The last job, I was completely depressed, and I ended up quitting. And my wife ended up having to work like 50 hours a week to support me and my kids. And then I got a job, and I wasn't able to talk about the job I'm currently in because I really don't want to get fired. So no, I actually love my current job. Don't get me wrong. This is my favorite job I've ever had. That's why I've been there for 10 years. I've survived there for 10 years. Everything else has been, but I was inspired by that. And I always thought it would be interesting to kind of offer advice. Everybody kind of is allowed to, some people don't feel like they're allowed to fail. Mm-hmm. And even with stuff like NaPodPoMo, being allowed to fail is okay. You get back up and you try again next year. Mm-hmm. And if you look at it that way, I've done 2 full sets, 2017, 2020. I don't know if I'll do it next year, but if
never
inspiration
say never.
Yes, if inspiration strikes me, I'll come back with it. And then my wife will be fully supportive, and she was my greatest cheerleader the entire time, and my kids were very supportive and very excited when I looked at my downloads, even though somebody, I think it might have been Sean, said they got like 20,000 downloads, and I immediately just deflated. I'm like, I get like Got like 300
I
this
think
month.
that was Clay. I wasn't
Oh,
sure.
okay.
It was Clay because he did the Fish Nerd. He does the Fish Nerds podcast,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
were doing fishy jokes every single day. And so and they were funny. I mean, the one he ended on the 30th one. At first I was like, and then I started laughing because it was bad. I mean, it was funny, but I wasn't expecting the punchline the way that it turned out. So they were pretty good. And he said that's probably one of the better ones. That some of the others weren't that great. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that you've done it before and have come back for more punishment.
Yeah, I'm a glutton for it, I guess.
Okay, so then let's bring in, I think, Madeline. You were the next to join us. Madeline, talk to us about your NaPodPoMo experience, whether you've done it before or this is your first time.
Yeah, of course. Hi, my name is Madeline Wright, and I also am from a place that ends in NIA, and that happens to be California.
Exactly the same place. Thank you.
Yes. So yeah, I actually started in 2018. That's where I first heard of NaPodPoMo. And I started my podcast because I'd done NaNoWriMo a lot of years. And so the idea was to have a podcast to help people get from the first day through the 30th. So I had daily podcasts, and that's what my first podcast for NaPodPoMo was. It was called a Mad Vox, and I would give like 5 to 7 minute episodes with tips and resources and just little tricks to help people, go from the beginning, the messy middle, and all the way to the end. So I did that as I was doing NaNoWriMo, which don't recommend,
No.
but I got through both. I didn't have any time to market my episodes or anything, but you had to kind of prioritize. The idea was to turn all of the content that I did into like a little PDF or something like that. But I was like done and kind of burnt out at that point to continue with it. But, the idea is that content is still there. So I can still take it, repurpose it, and still contribute to the NaNoWriMo community, which I've been a part of since 2003. So off and on, not every year. Like, Jeremy was saying, like, I don't have 17 novels, but I have, like 9 or 10 good drafts. Some of them I want to split into 2 different stories and all of that. So the idea was to keep on doing podcasts in the vein of covering super challenges. And so one of the other super challenges I do is FOM. And that's what I wanted my next series to be on, which is February Album Writing Month. The idea is the same as NaNoWriMo, to write.
Explain that to me. What's
music for musicians.
Oh, you
so
write
if you're
songs.
a musician, yeah, I'm a songwriter too. So I play guitar and sing. So the idea is to write 14 songs in the month of February for FOM. And so you have an album at the end of that. Now, you don't have to have it produced or recorded or anything. You just have to literally write the lyrics to it and post the title, and that's considered writing a song. So
I would say that's writing a song.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is, but
they're saying you don't have to have a
people...
finished song sung on a music track is what you're saying.
Yes, and the idea is don't be so precious about it, just get it out. The same with the drafts, the same with NaPodPoMo, just to get yourself used to the practice of doing it so that you can hone the craft. And so this year I had high hopes of doing NaPodPoMo. I started off with new software, upgraded to the newest GarageBand. I was trying out Podcast Studio, which is a Mac app. This year I actually started working at a podcast platform, so work got a little bit busy. So it was not a bad thing, but it also was in tandem with me starting a blog mentorship for people who wanted to contribute to the podcast site that I help run, which is Women of Color Podcasters. And we have a 3-month program that I'm facilitating to get people who want to write focused on podcasting topics, ready to pitch, learning what editors look for and all of that. So, on top of all that, I kind of did not get through the month for this, but I still definitely have my plans and what I want to do for FOM and podcasting and doing lots of resources and tips on how to get people through FOM. That's kind of my next project that I'd like to do.
So what would you say, even not having completed, and I know Jeremy talked about this himself, but in your mind, even though you didn't complete, what just happened? Okay, I don't know what just happened. This is a beta, so anything can happen. Okay, it's a beta, folks. It's a beta. It's a public beta. I mean,
I floated away a little while ago too. But to your
This
question,
is great for beta. I mean, geez. Yeah.
let's see.
your question again,
Oh,
Jennifer?
well, even not having completed the 30 days, I mean, you still feel, in my mind, the fact that you accepted this challenge is a big one. And so it's still a win. But I wanted to hear what your thoughts were on the success of what you did accomplish.
Yeah. So initially, when I started podcasting, I'd have to script out every single word, re-record sentences twice. Literally, just I was not comfortable saying any word that wasn't on the paper, even if I had to read it enough so that it sounded conversational. But it was literally all scripted. This year, I was able to record a podcast or record an episode that was me talking,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just trying to become comfortable with the idea of you can have spaces and times that you stop talking, and it's not it's not the end of the world. Like, it's okay to take a pause, take a beat, collect your thoughts. It's just like having a conversation with people, so you don't have to fill the entire episode with one person talking. I don't have interviews. I just kind of me talking about a different topic, so that's kind of what I'm working with. Just being uncomfortable with the normal tics in my voice, like if I say a lot or if I kind of ramble on and on. I just have to be comfortable with finishing a sentence, starting a new sentence. And so I think that's really taught me a lot, and being more comfortable speaking to an audience and just kind of being able to speak extemporaneously off of whatever I have to say. Yeah.
Well, so I call NaPodPoMo Fail Fast a Fail Fast Get Good challenge.
Yes.
Because you do not have time to freak out about your ums and your ahs and your stutters and what you did wrong, because there's another episode that's due tomorrow,
Right.
or you batch record. So I think that in my mind, it's always been a way to kind of lower the barrier to entry to podcasting. Because if you're new, podcasting can be overwhelming. Now, granted, I mean, Sean and I started back in the 06, 07. I think Leslie may have been around those years. I mean, I was 05. I think Sean may have been 2004, 2006. But we're looking at, back then it was really hard to podcast. Now you have, you got a phone. Guess what? There's an app for that. And you can just podcast on your phone, which I think is absolutely fabulous. But even with the ease of having an app, there's still so much more to it, right? Like, how are your ID3 tags? What about your album art? How are you going to promote it? What's your RSS feed? How do you get it to Apple Podcasts? How do you get it to Google Podcasts? I want to put it on Spotify. So there's a lot of those kinds of things in addition to finding your podcasting voice. So I always like the fact that we can get together and like futz around and kind of figure things out. And again, fail fast, get good, in a community environment where we're cheering each other on and supporting each other, and it's fun and it's a challenge. And so that, to me, what you're talking about, how you kind of had to get over it, is exactly what NaPodPoMo was for. It allows you to develop your voice and gain confidence. So thank you for sharing. So Sean, you were the next person to join. Can I have you unmute yourself, or if you are muted?
Yeah, hi. Hi.
Hey.
My name is Sean, and I'm in California as well. I guess we've got a few West Coasters here today. That's nice. My history with NaPodPoMo specifically, I started.
You started year one.
Yeah, year one, 2007, and I did it off and on in the ensuing years. This year, I participated as much as I could. I think I got about maybe 9 days finished. But for me, it's just, I don't know, the personal challenge, I guess, was just doing something because I haven't, I work in podcasting, but I haven't done much just podcasting for myself. And the shows that I produced are what in the old days we used to call audio blogs.
Yeah.
Anyway, I enjoyed it. It gave me an opportunity to also do some troubleshooting. I discovered that I have a Rodecaster Pro, and I discovered that my new Wi-Fi router is causing interference with it. So I'm going to have to solve that now. But taking the time to just sit down and, plug things and unplug things and record the process gave me an opportunity to do that, and also to upgrade the Roadcaster. It's got some new firmware, which has probably been out for months, but this was my opportunity to get that done. So not terribly exciting, but that's my story.
That's awesome. I mean, I think it's great. Yeah, Sean was there in year one, and he, like he said, he's come back and forth several times. But yeah, that's good. So when you said that you were doing it this year, I was like, oh, okay. I'm interested to see. Let's see who was next. I think it might have been Stephanie.
Oh, okay. Should I just talk about this? This is my second year doing NaPodPoMo. I was convinced after last year that I had learned enough about what I could shake up in my creative process, and I wasn't going to go through it again because it was such a challenge to reach that 30. And then as it got closer to November, I was like, no, I'm just going to plan better this year. And then I ended up moving from Germany to Albania, kind of accidentally, yay, COVID year. And so instead of not doing it or doing it all by myself, I decided I was going to pull in, I have a few different podcasts, so I was going to pull in, kind of revisit older guests that were on like 2 or 3 years ago. So I asked them, I said, pretty please, I've just moved countries. It's kind of a hectic year. Could you help me out? Here's a list of questions. Can you record your answers, listen to your old episode, and kind of reflect back on what's changed, kind of do a check-in, that kind of thing. So I left it pretty open for them, but with some guiding questions. And lo and behold, I think about 10 or 12 folks ended up sending me audio. So, which wasn't enough for the 30. So I ended up doing like one day of their reflections and then the next day of a clip from their original interview. So I just kept rotating between the two. And that's what I did the whole month. It was a little more work than I wanted to do when I put the feelers out for them to help get through the 30 days. But it was actually very fun to re-listen to the episodes and to hear their thoughts on it and to learn what they've been up to. Because oftentimes when we have guests, it can be a lot of just you talk to them once and maybe you'll stay connected in the socials, but you don't really bring them back into the podcast necessarily. I don't know. That's what I feel like I was starting to do. So I wanted to rectify that a little bit.
I liked your idea of asking them to re-listen to their show and then answer questions about it, because I've never heard of that before. Your idea was like you came up with that yourself, or you?
I did. Well, I've always wondered when I send the information when an episode's ready, what do they think as they're listening? Do they like how they sound, or do they like what happened, how it turned out in the end? But I'm always too, I guess you could say, insecure or delicate to ask. So I was like, with the guests that were 2 and 3 years back, I can have that distance of, well, that was old interview me, that was old editor me. So no matter what they say about it, it won't really affect me creatively. I won't feel a little damaged from the criticism. But most of them actually ended up talking about what they said, and nobody talked about like the format or the editing or any of the things I was insecure about. None of them brought that up.
Right. Yeah. Because for them, they were, I think we all have a tendency to be a little self-critical. And so they were looking at how they did all those years ago, because they also are not that version of themselves anymore. They're a new version. And so I really like that. I thought, what a great idea. If you're thinking of doing kind of like a recap show or the greatest hits or something, I like that idea a lot. And it was very inspiring. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Well, I know that you're also expanding on your editing skills. And so how has that helped you kind of discover your path in that direction?
I did a lot of fun fails in November. I bought a rather standard lav mic, not a Rode that I drooled over, but just a standard generic one. And I took it outside to the park, and I was trying to get some like bird sounds, kind of nature sounds, and me at the same time. And it doesn't really work that way. And so I tried all kinds of things that people had told me to do editing wise to try to get rid of the excess sounds. But in the end, it seemed like, and I'm still not perfect at this at any stretch, but it seemed like I had to pick between my voice being clear and the birds being clear. And yeah, so Yeah, but it was really fun to try, and it was really different to walk around a park and have just like a little bit of notes just to keep me on track for the intros and stuff, and to be recording in a naturey environment that I love while talking about the interview that was, or the reflection from the guest that I was really excited about, and to have those two kind of joys bump up against each other was really fun. So I don't know. I'll try again when I can get a fancier lav mic, but for now, I think I'm going to stick to something like this.
Yeah, I do have that Rode Smart Lav. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But now, of course, it sits gathering dust because I don't go anywhere.
Right?
Eventually,
Yeah.
we'll go places. But for now, I've got this guy right here. Okay, well, thank you so much, Stephanie. That's wonderful. And then the next person that came in was George. Am I correct? Or was it Leslie? I can't remember. George, you want to go? And then we'll round it out with Leslie.
Sure. Hello, everyone. This is my, I'm aiming at my microphone right over here. So, forgive me for not looking right at the camera, but this was actually my third go around with NaPodPoMo. I'm 2-1 with completing it. This year was the one. Because apparently my eyes were too big for my stomach when it comes to my challenges, because I not only tried this, but I also gave another shot at National Novel Writing Month. And I came up with the idea for this time around of using the podcast to kind of document my progress with National Novel Writing Month. And so that way you can be an integrated kind of writing behind the scenes kind of show. And unfortunately, when life found a way to get in the way, at the beginning of November, and I lost momentum on the writing, the similar loss of momentum happened with this show. My first 2 years doing this, I had two different approaches. The first one was video blog format, as Sean did. It was very stream of consciousness, and in fact, I had to rally on day 30 to get the last 11 episodes done to reach that episode, reach that 30 episode milestone. The second year, I wanted to really kind of plan it out and actually do a real show, and I came up with the idea of using the format as a way to do a little mini celebration of all the different Marvel movies that are outside the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I pitched the idea to one of my friends who was a big comic book reader and everything, and I told him I'm going to go from Howard the Duck from 1986 to Dark Phoenix in 2019. We're going to go from Duck till dark. And he goes, that's your title. So that became From Duck Till Dark outside the Marvel Studios, which wound up being its own little show on Anchor that I would just constantly record over at work, in the car, at home. It would be the kind that I would just put my earbuds into my iPhone, turn on the Anchor app, and away I go. And I was trying to use the same approach for this one. Unfortunately, that wound up not happening. But I've actually kept the From Duck Till Dark episodes up and went ahead and syndicated it, because I know that at some point I want to revisit it and redo those episodes and have some thinking about expanding them and bringing in different guests to interview, kind of like the way I do with my current podcast, Excelsior Journeys. So it's something like that. It created like this whole other thing that I know I want to revisit in the near future.
That's awesome. I remember From Dusk Till Dark. Not dark. From Dusk Till Dark. No, what did you just say? Duck Till Dark.
From Duck Till Dark.
Right. I remember that last year, right? Is that what, am I correct on my memory?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was good.
Last year,
actually, because I was like, oh, I didn't even know it, because you gave a lot of background details to the characters. It actually helped me understand some of those stories better. I went and rewatched a few of the Marvel movies after listening to your podcast, because you gave additional character story information. Yeah. So thank you.
Oh, that's fabulous. I'm glad I can do that. Yeah.
Right. It's a year later, but I'm glad to tell you that, your podcast made an impression and it made a difference. And it gave me a new appreciation for those character stories.
I'm really glad to hear that.
Awesome. Well,
I'm really glad to hear that. Thank you so much. That really, now you've given more of an impetus to just really, keep going with it. So,
well, it was really well done.
Yeah,
I mean, you're doing
awesome.
that
Thank
in 30 days. That's in a month when we have in the US,
Yeah.
when we have a Thanksgiving holiday. It's always a challenge, you know, but I think
Yeah.
that's what makes it the win or even just the attempt that much more,
Mhm.
I don't know, what would be
Yeah.
the word?
No, November is pretty stacked because I not only have, there's not only Thanksgiving, but there's also my daughter's birthday, my wife's birthday, and wedding anniversary. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, we just lost Leslie. Maybe she's like the pressure. So when yeah. So while we're waiting for her to come back, Celine, why don't you share about Melody? Because I put links inside of the group. We've talked about it, but really like to hear about Melody and really how beneficial a service like Melody can be for podcasters.
Yeah, I actually like found NaPodPoMo, I think, on LinkedIn through you, and I just thought like it's what an impressive challenge, and I just thought to myself it must be so hard to actually keep going because 30 is like such a high number. So I just thought that like having a prize at the end, like in addition to that badge that you created, which is awesome, I thought that could be like an incentive to like just get people motivated and keep going. So I just thought like people need that kind of like an additional motivation. So like as you said, I also think like podcasters sometimes like struggle with finding the right track, be it for their like intros, outros, or like as background music. And that's what we do at Melody. Like we are a music licensing platform, and we provide like high quality stock music for all types of content creators, including podcasters, to just like elevate their contents and like pack them with emotion through the intrinsic power of music, and like just take those podcasts to the next level, which I think get like much more like better results through the like music, because I think a podcast without music, it just sounds so much different than a podcast with good quality music. That just like sets a strong brand identity, and just I just think it's just much better. So what we do at Melody is like we're subscription based. So once you are subscribed to us, you can like download unlimited tracks, and we kind of like simplify the licensing. So it like the tracks that you will put in your podcast will be licensed worldwide and forever. So even if you, for example, cancel your subscription, they will be like those tracks and those episodes will be licensed forever. So they are like safe in perpetuity and like on every platform that you can even think about, like even broadcast, for example. That's what we do.
Amazing.
Yeah, like we just thought licensing is kind of like complex, and it just creates so much like legal headache, which is not necessary at all. So that's what we're trying to do, just support the content creators like globally with simple licensing and great quality music, which is just needed for all types of content. So yeah.
I love it. Well, any questions, folks? I guess we're waiting for Leslie. Are you there? We'll wait for you to come back. Any questions right now off the top of your head on Melody? If you go, it's melod.ie, which I think is very clever.
I like it.
Yeah. So any questions that anybody has?
That's just what I'm going to ask, where we can find that. That's just where I was going to ask, where we can find that. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, Leslie, are you there, Leslie? She's trying.
I think she said she's on her iPad since her desktop kept crashing.
Okay.
Yeah. She's put notes in the chat, so she's trying to make her way back. I do have a quick question about if we have music and we're interested in submitting that, is that something that you guys do as well for musicians?
Yeah, we do, but there is one like important thing that I should add. All of our tracks are exclusive to Melody, so we work with artists like on a track by track basis, because we know that not everyone wants to like give all their tracks just to one platform. So we do this because clients love it. It's just much easier with like YouTube takedowns and third-party monetization issues, because our like catalog is exclusive. It means there will be no issues with that. So yeah, we definitely do work with like artists. I actually can send you a link that maybe onto the chat where you can submit your, because I heard you write songs, which is yeah, so definitely, like if you're interested, we would love to hear from you.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll just
Okay. Folks, this is live and I'm having technical difficulties. So let's try this. Okay, so I got kicked out, or I got booted out because I'm having trouble. So again, public beta, right? That's why they have public betas. But I'm going to try and figure and get back in there. And when I do, I will jump back in. But you can hear the stories, right? The stories are, well, to me, they're inspiring and motivating, and it's what brings me back year after year, every single year. I mean, it's a challenge, right? There's holidays going on. There's so much happening, and yet this is something I don't think I could ever give up. Why would I? Because it's just, the community is just so, valuable, and the stories that we learn are just so helpful. Interesting. I'm not able to log back in. We're going to try another browser, folks. Let's see what we can do. It's like, surely we can make this happen. Oh, maybe it's going to happen for me. Okay, here we go. Okay.
From Selena, where just I was curious, where are you from?
Yeah, I'm actually like joining you from Turkey. I'm Turkish, but
Okay.
yeah, my accent is a bit mixed because I'm actually half Turkish, half Persian. And then I studied in England and I lived in Australia for a bit. And I also went to an Austrian high school. So it's like my accent is all over the place. And
I
like,
think
no one
that's
can
fabulous.
pinpoint
You
where
have,
this accent is coming from.
yeah, you have
That's
a
awesome.
global
I
accent.
thought I heard Ireland in your accent. I thought I heard Ireland. So there you go.
More, yeah. And
I heard
people
some
say,
Australian there.
yeah. Because I pick up like little things from everywhere, like wherever I go.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just so mixed. And yeah, now that I'm living back in Turkey, I also speak Turkish like throughout the day. So it just affects my accent. Just, yeah.
Are you
It's a bit
in, what is it,
mixed.
Anatolia, or not? I'm saying that wrong. Italia?
I'm in Istanbul.
Istanbul. Okay. There's someone I know that lives there. And before all this craziness hit, my plan was to go and visit,
Yeah.
sometime. So we'll see. Eventually, maybe that'll happen. So, okay.
Yeah, we're actually in lockdown right now, like
Yeah.
a full
Everyone.
weekend lockdown.
Yeah.
No, as in like Turkey's a bit strange with its policy. So during the week you can actually go out. Like it's called a lockdown, but it's not. But on the weekend you can't really go anywhere. Like you can't even step outside the house. Which is,
Okay, yeah. That's...
But the cases are really high. It's like 40,000 cases a day. So I guess it's needed.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so did Leslie, did you get a chance? I kind of got bounced out. Did you get a chance to share your NaPodPoMo history and experience?
Okay, first of all, tell me if you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
I'm on my
What?
iPad because Toucan kept crashing my laptop.
I know, sorry, it's a public beta.
Well, it was just unexpected, so I'm going to be very cautious here because who knows how long I'm going to be here. Anyway, I did video because I did a creative journal challenge and I went through and let's see, I've already lost audio. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All
Yeah,
right.
can you find?
All right. I feel like a newbie. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? So anyway, I don't know how much you can see of this, but this is what I did.
No.
So content wasn't hard. I did my kids. I did my, where I've lived. I did words of encouragement, Texas parks. my kayaking, a waterfall card, and of course Christmas and Easter. So the content wasn't difficult. What was difficult for me was recording, because I've done Facebook Lives for several years, but I wanted to switch over to Rumble, because Rumble, you have a monetary opportunity. And yet Facebook Live seemed to know when my camera was flat and still did the appropriate video. However, when I started just recording with my phone, in order to get it flat enough for me to be able to show my crafting area, it would flip the video sideways. Vertical video. Sideways vertical. So that was I still haven't got it all straight yet. I bought a new phone and it has quirks that I'm not happy with. I have a regular video camera, but you're trying to figure out how to mount it over my, again, completely up and down was a challenge as well. So anyway, I did it last year as well, doing videos on card crafting. I've done NaPodPoMo, I don't know how many years, but I think maybe this is the third time I've actually done all 30 videos. Or podcasts. So you really have to find a topic that pulls you, because especially during the COVID crisis, there's been a lot of times where I know I've gotten sort of depressed, and politics constantly on your mind, and I just didn't want to sit down and be cheerful. And so that was challenging in itself. I have to admit, there were a couple days I did the hide under the blankets and read romance novels, but
guilty pleasures, they're there for a reason.
Hey, my youngest is 20, so I don't have to worry about toddlers and stuff anymore. So that was it. Congratulations to everyone that has done it. It's a wonderful experience. Thank you, Jennifer, for being there to encourage us, because I know that I need accountability partners. I need team members to help get me through these things. And other than that, I have a very successful NaPodPoMo challenge for this year. Yay!
Yay! That's fantastic. Well, so let's talk about how we're going to do this. Obviously, the folks that are here are not all the folks that completed or even who participated. However, I think that since you are here, you should be rewarded. So, and so we didn't put any stipulations on needing to be here to win, but we also didn't say you didn't need to be here to win, because this was very loose, very loose. So I see. So okay, raise your hand if you completed. I think I counted 4 people who completed. Is that right? Okay, Leslie completed, so no, 3. Yeah. 3 who completed and 3 who did not. Okay, so there's 3 prizes. So actually what I'd like to do is I'd like to give Celine and I've got, do you have random.org?
I just found a website just before this call. It was like commentpicker.com, but if you want to do it,
no, I mean, I was just trying to come. See, what I would like to do is have a Santa hat and pull out things, but that's not going to work.
Go for it. Just share your screen.
Okay, so I'm going to give each of you a number, right? So I'm just looking at you how you're on this circle for me. I don't know if everyone else has the same view, but Stephanie, you're 1. Leslie, you're 2. Okay. Jeremy, you're 3. Madeline, you're 4. George, you're 5, and Sean, you're 6. Okay. Remember your numbers. And I'm going to do random.org. Now this, because all 3 of you are here, all 6 of you are here, and all of you did it. These are for the first 2 prizes, which are open to anyone. So the first prize is a month of that, I'm going to get you a month of the Melody, the single use plan, because the business plan is really cool though, because Celine is offering through Melody on behalf of Melody, because you can use it as a business, as someone who does podcasting for a business, which I think is amazing. Yeah. And a lot of us do, right? A lot of us do this for a living or as part of our work. And in which case that's really valuable. However, if you're an individual podcaster and you want just music for your own show, single license is perfect. So you're going to get 1 month of that, of the single license. And as Celine said, that music, all the music you download in perpetuity. So I wouldn't let that gather dust until day 29. I would be busy. So if you look here, I don't know if you can see, I've got 1 through 6, and I'm just going to hit generate a result. And the result is, can you see it?
No, I just see your,
I cannot see it.
Can't see it.
Sorry. Okay, it says 4.
Yay!
Oh, is that me?
Who's 4? 1,
Four,
2,
I think
3.
That is Madeline.
Yeah, Madeline.
Congratulations,
Yay!
Madeline.
Yay.
Congratulations.
1 month of Melody. Okay, so
Round of applause.
Awesome.
it is a round of applause. Okay.
Around. Cheers.
All right. So Madeline, you
Thank
if your number comes up again, you cannot win again.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm going to generate, right? So now the second prize is a $25 gift card. I was going to make it an Amazon gift card, but actually it's a gift card to wherever you want. If you have a local mom and pop shop that you want to get a $25 gift card to them, just tell me and I will go and get that gift card for you. If you want it to be Starbucks, if you want it to be Amazon, if you want it to be, whatever, name your thing, dealer's choice, right? So you're going to get to pick. So I'm going to generate again. Generate. Can you see that?
No.
Okay, it's number 2.
Yay, Leslie.
Number 2.
That's Leslie.
All right.
Okay, so now,
Woo.
so now for the folks who completed, and I guess I need to renumber, right? So that was Stephanie, Leslie, and Jeremy. All right, so that's actually 1, 2, 3. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go through. You have a 33% chance of.
Yeah, these odds are fantastic.
I
like those
right?
odds.
It pays. It pays to attend one of these, doesn't it? Okay, so
Good luck, Stephanie, but not good enough luck.
Right back at you.
Well, you have to do the obligatory, we're all winners here, but somebody's going to win.
Somebody's going to win, right? Okay,
Yeah, right.
so I have picked, so it's 1 through 3, and I'm going to hit generate. And the winner is Leslie.
Nice.
You want to, Leslie, do you want to give up your $25 to somebody else?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, how about we do that? And this is back to the 6, because that's an amazing prize that you just got.
Yay!
Yay, congratulations. And now let me generate 1 through 6. The number is 5. Who's 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. George, you won $25 gift card to the place of your
That's me.
choice. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much.
I'll go ahead and throw this out right now. It's Best Buy. So.
Done. After we get off of here, can you go into the group and reach out to me through Instant Messenger? Or not Instant Messenger. What's it called in Facebook? Messenger.
Will do.
Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, each of you, by the way, each of you who won. Yeah, reach out to me inside of the group through Messenger, and we'll do all the details and take care of that. So thank you all so much for participating. I especially appreciate that you figured out Toucan and got here. And the folks that didn't, they missed out.
I think this is so fun. It really looks like the actual in-person events that we all miss from last year.
Oh yeah, the Toucan. It's pretty cool. It's anyone.
It's
so
very
now
cool.
that it's not private beta, it's public beta. They have a small window where it's free, and then eventually they're going to charge. I don't know what they're going to charge.
Oh,
but
yeah.
use this. This is really great. All you need is a Gmail account or I think Facebook or something. I use Gmail just to log in.
Facebook
to create
or Google account.
There you go, to log in, and then you can create events like this. And so I think for the holidays, having family meetings like this would be fun because so I'll give you an example. So if I wanted to come out and wanted to have my own meeting, I could have my own meeting, because you could have different topics of discussion. And here's another cool thing. You see that little presenter thing? If you had up to 20 of those bubbles, if I click on presenter, I'm going to present to everyone.
Oh, that's cool.
Eventually. Okay, so now if there were a bunch
Now we
of
see you.
groups, if there were a bunch of groups, then I would be doing kind of like the announcements to everyone or doing the presentation to everyone. And so it's really cool. I mean, this has so many fun applications. While it's a free public beta, dig in and test it out. And they haven't announced what they will eventually be charging for it, but I'm really a huge fan. I think it's very cool. You can also screen share and all kinds of stuff.
Can you record on this too?
I don't think so. I haven't figured out how to do that.
That would be fun to do.
It would. Well, so what I'm doing is I'm actually using Ecamm to stream this out. So I'm using Ecamm and then I'm using Restream, and so that way it can go out. We'll see how that worked because mixing all these when you're using multiple things together, it can be a challenge. But I think this worked all right. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is
So
really neat.
Celine, it'd be cool for you all to try that at Melody.
Yeah, this is really cool. And I think like the more people like are here, you can actually do those like circles, like an in-person like social event, like where you actually just go like join a social group and then just
Yeah.
leave and join another one.
Yep.
It's just so nice.
Yeah.
And I think it's so needed because like we're all at home and like we
Well,
need to
this
socialize some way.
feels like a social thing versus a Zoom
Yeah,
meeting.
definitely.
Yeah.
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 Awesome. Well, any
That's
last
great.
words? Any words of encouragement, NaPodPoMo peeps, for others who have never heard of this and or have heard of it and think we're nuts?
We are nuts. That's the problem.
Yeah, pretty much.
It takes a special kind of crazy to do it. But those of you who have finished in the past, it's okay. We're in good company.
Awesome.
Yeah, I would encourage us to maybe connect in the Facebook group and like, because you see people's names here, but their username might be different on Discord or something. So if we can kind of find a way of people who've been in the Toucan to connect with each other, feel free to add me on LinkedIn or, whatever social media you use.
So this was streamed to the Facebook page. So I guess if we want to go in there, I'm going to go in there and announce who won.
Okay.
But if you all want to connect from there, I mean, definitely. Absolutely.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'd be interested in following you on Twitter or whatever you use to see your progress.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you so much, Celine. Thank you, Melody. I really appreciate you
my
all
pleasure.
supporting us. It gave an extra bit of incentive and fun for us to do the challenges here. So I appreciate you reaching out and making such a generous
I'm so
offer.
glad.
Awesome. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
have
thank
a
you so
great
much.
Saturday, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Thank you.
Fun. So much fun. Okay. Well, that's it, folks. Now I can move to my main camera. That is it, folks. I think that there were some audio challenges. Again, we're going from Toucan to Ecamm to Restream to Facebook to Twitter to YouTube. Something could have gotten lost in the stream or in the chain, but hopefully you saw and heard. We had a great time. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, the folks who showed up on a Saturday at noon Central Time and 7 o'clock in Albania, 7 p.m. in Albania, and 10 a.m. in California are not all the folks that participated, but I thank those that did. We gave away some great prizes. Really, really appreciate Melody for jumping in and offering such a wonderful prize. I mean, music in perpetuity. Come on, man. That's amazing. Anyway, go take a look at them at melodymold.ie, and happy NaPodPoMo. Have a wonderful December. Have a wonderful New Year. Obviously, come back around next year and let's do this again. Have fun.